view or take a decision or take a resolution, the majority view counts, not the minority. Colored people in this country are the second biggest grouping in the Republic of South Africa after the African. But we don't get the same benefit, the same service. We use God as an opium, which is what some political parties are trying to do. They're trying to use it as an antidote to appease and calm social issues, social ills. God is and He remains your private belief, and it shouldn't be a hazy issue where how do you bring Christianity into a school that's made up of constitution is made up of colors, Indians, Muslims, Africans, and whites, for example, and they all have different views. So how are you gonna manage that? You can't. Two, as an organization, Conservatives in Action, we believe very strongly in the principle of property rights. Our people have worked for their money. Not all of them, but those who've worked. Some of them have been given title deeds by the state, so that's property. Government does not have the right. So the notion espoused by or propagated by the ANC and the EFF and MK that land expropriation without compensation is nonsense. It doesn't muster constitutionality. It is unconstitutional. That's why they want to change the constitution. We're saying if you want to deal with the issue of historical land grabs by white people, then let's establish a proper commission that deals precisely with that. Two, if you want to deal with the issue of land of the Khoisan, then we must deal with issues of land of the Zulu. Then we must deal with issues of land of howsoever, whosoever they may be. Fourthly, and very critically, you cannot talk politics. And I've looked at all the manifestos of the whole lot of them, and they can come here, I'll debate any one of them. Anyone, you can call them. And I live and fly up to just to be in that meeting. If you don't talk about reduction of tax, okay? Give you an example. For every rand that our people earn, for every rand, we pay 15% VAT, okay? We pay tax on petrol, okay? We pay tax, some of us, or I don't know, depending on the level of where you are, we pay primary income tax, right? And what people don't understand is that whether you bring chickens in from overseas, whether you bring shoes from overseas, whatever you import, the government makes tax out of it. And we're saying that should be reversed, where rather than being an importer, because I've studied economics, if you don't understand the difference between balance of trade payments and deficits and surplus, we should be more a country of exports rather than a country of imports, right? 3 or 5.5. We sitting in this country right now, the total amount of money that we collect in tax by SARS every year to pay for all the governments, to pay for everything, pay for roads, pay for houses, do everything, we collect about 1.6 trillion. I can tell you now, this is fact. You can Google it, because we come here with facts. We don't come here and talk about Mickey Mouse stuff thumb-sucking stuff. 400 billion rand, which is 25% of the total money received by this country per annum, is paid to overseas banks in interest. We borrowed money. We have to pay 400 billion rand. You know how much 400 billion rand is? You know what that could have done to the ordinary person on the street? It could have built houses. It could have built more roads. It could have had more money into local government. It could have had better creation of jobs. That is where the issue is. And we're saying as an organization, when we go to Parliament, because we are going, contrary to the view of others, will be there and will be dealing with these particular issues, in particular reduction of taxes, gender-based violence, violence against women and the aged, violence in particular against children. The issue which this government pays lip service to is the issue of 43% of every child in this country, this is fact, 43%, in other words, 5 out of every 10 children in this country don't have a father. Children live below the poverty line. Unacceptable. But we're happy as a government to take 400 million, if not $500 million, and go and fight for Palestine. It's nonsense.
Yeah. So let's also talk about, I mean, you mentioned that you have quite a footprint nationally. Let's speak about Gauteng now as a province. How big is your footprint in Gauteng? Are you, or as you are campaigning for these elections also in the province, how has it been for you and how big is your footprint, as I mentioned?
Gauteng is very cosmopolitan, nice word.
Mm-hmm.
Cosmopolitan meaning that it's a multiplicity of groupings. Ngiyathetha, ngiyakhuluma, ekpraat, I speak. We speak to a large percentage of people, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not a prophet. So I can't tell you, the only thing that determines your footprint is what?
Yeah.
Is the ballot.
Yeah.
So when we see the result, but we are very much, we have a big footprint in terms of campaigning.
Of course, including also membership. I thought, I'm actually thinking